Okay, so this is 8:15, 6:15, the time to start, and we have the agenda as up here. So thank you very much for coming to this side event session. And well, it is a little bit freezing, so I hope nobody dies by the freeze. But we will proceed, and I expected a hot discussion so that we will not be freezing. So let me start with my starting comments and how do I say? How we come up to the Borneo Elephant Sanctuary project with the collaboration of NPOs and stakeholders both in Malaysia and Japan. First, I would like to thank again and again to Caroline Bosmeyer, who is here, because our relation started in Bonn in 2008. Luckily, the COP9 was held in May, so we are not freezing in Bonn. But that time, the organizer, the German government ministry, thought that it is important that the business should join to the discussion so that it is actually moves, the situation of the biodiversity. Okay, it's a kind of mixture. I wondered who is screaming, So this is a start that business can participate in this biodiversity project. Then we have 1, 2, 3 COPs, and this is the COP12 after Bonn. I think many projects and things have been moved, and one of the example is this Borneo Elephant Sanctuary, that how we can move together. But before that, as a business person, because I'm a president of Saraya Company Limited, our belief is that also the situation, not only the government, not only the NPO, business, once it moves in the right direction, is a very strong tool to improve the situation. But we have to be very innovative and also have a good heart and mind. As I said in the previous meeting, we should be a hard rock singers and with a little bit, let's say, destructive, but still have a good rhythms and moves to move forward. So I think we have many challenges. And the other thing is that biodiversity itself cannot be solved by itself. It is also relates to the rich and poor. It is also relates to the use of the resources. It is also to the, many other things. Also weathers and carbon emission. So I think our approach is to not only to save the elephants, but also work with the community and work with the people. Rosli will maybe talk about those factors later, right? This is the tonight's main theme, realizing the Borneo Elephant Sanctuary, how NGOs and NPOs are working together to realize BES, Borneo Elephant Sanctuary. But before this, our business is using palm oil, as I explained. So palm oil is a very close relation. But for the palm oil, there are lots of accused by NPO, NGOs. One of them is this campaign that orangutan is edged out. Palm oil is a crude oil, and dying for a cookie, that means when you cook cookie, you use palm oil. So by using the palm oil, you expand the palm plantation. So this is dying for the cookie. There are also the biofuel, because palm oil is used also to biofuel now. So they can use for the food They can use for cosmetics. Also, they can use for burning to get energy. So there's a driving force to use palm oil. Articles also in Japan, not only in Western world. There is a campaign by the Friends of the Earth. They put a product in the basket, the product that you should not buy using palm oil. Burning up Borneo, this is more on the developments of the places where they had the emissions of methane, and that's why it's burning. But also, you see the hands of orangutan, which shows that it also affects the biodiversity. Palm is something like this. They harvest 10 big bunches a year, so this is very efficient in a way that now this is more than soybean, which is 40 million tons per year. Soybean needs 8 times more land than palm. So palm, in a sense, uses less footprint for the production. However, palm is such an efficient vegetable, and also it's good for the nutrition for the poor people. So they are used for the food. They are used for the non-food. So the production is increasing. As you can see, it increases much in China, in India. So I think more people are using palm for their source of their food and nutrition. As you know, then it happens like in Kinabatangan that we have the project. 20 years ago, it was full of green, full of rainforest. Now it's a patch of rainforest just along the river. So this is what is happening. This is, as you can see, plantations is invading towards the banks of the river. And it is actually illegal that you plantation go along the river. But people don't care. And also sometimes, they connect with the, some people and government that it is allowed. Not allowed, but it is not recognized. So as you see, this is a palm plantation. They cut the bunch that fruits 10 of the big bunches a year. This bunch is something like 20 or 30 kilos, very heavy. Then there are 1,000 to 2,000 small fruits in a bunch, and they have to squeeze the oil within a day. That's why I said the fruit is rotten by its enzyme. That means you need to have the big oil mill in the center of the plantation. So in order to sustain the oil mill, you need to have the good places like 5,000 hectares or 10,000 hectares, big plantation to sustain the palm mill, which is a very efficient business. They make a kind of this truck within the palm plantation. They go around to collect the fruits, and then as you can see, there's an old plantation. So this is what is happening. Our company sell detergent using palm and coconut oil, and this is one of the product that started in 1971, more than 40 years ago. It has a good sales in Japan because we say that it's very eco-friendly because we use vegetable oil. It's very biodegradable and good to the skin. So we are proud that we are very eco-friendly. But one time in 2004, in August 1st, we are just asked by the TV, Mr. Saraya, you are making eco-friendly detergent. But as a matter of fact, your product is not eco-friendly because you are using palm oil And your palm oil, because of the use, you use much of the palm that helps plantation to grow. Then once the plantation grows, the elephants in the plantation suffered. So we are, by that time, looking only to our consumer, that we think it's very eco-friendly, and we tell to the consumer that our product is good. But in the end, we find that our supply chain is not perfect. Because but at the time when the TV people asked us, we don't know it's true or not. So Mr. Nakanishi, who is taking a picture there, we find, as a matter of fact, he's a dentist. But he doesn't want to look into the mouths of people. So he wants more wild. That's why he asked for to work for us to research the jungle. And he went to the place in 2004, find Mr. Saraya. It is actually happening, in Borneo. So he talked to the Borneo Sabah Wildlife Department. Then we decided to do whatever we can do quickly. So we had an agreement, SWD, to help the elephant, rescue the elephant, catch the elephant, and make some treatment, and then release them to the forest. This is the project that we started. So it was kind of work that we started, but it's endless work, right? Because elephants, find every year and every place. So there could be some solutions we discussed. Then there was just an organization called RSPO, just established in the end of 2004. We became the member, and RSPO is called Roundtable of Sustainable Palm Oil. So this is like this. We discussed what is the sustainable palm oil, and also that sustainable means also concerns the biodiversity, or how people employed, or how they use the pesticides and so on. By the advice of the Sabah Wildlife Department, I put a resolution in the General Assembly. Working with the Secretariat, Mr. Saraya, if you put the words like their land will be secured and they will be adequately compensated, that means you don't take them, but it's a kind of business. If you put that sentence, you can put the resolution in the General Assembly. But in the General Assembly, there was a very negative mood that they once speak that you have to show the evidence and also the scientific, reasons why 1 kilometer and how they can be. So they need lots of reasons. So I thought it will be denied once we put the resolution to vote. So we took it back, withdrew, then we went to the other meeting, which is BBEC, Borneo Biodiversity and Ecosystem Conservation. Just 3 months later, after the RSPO assembly, they say, oh, you are the business people who come to this conservation meeting and say something good. So they all approved our ideas. But this is only an idea. It has to be implemented. So we talked to the several key persons, and there was a kind of missions to see around what is happening. Then a kind of mood and movement occurs to establish Borneo Conservation Trust, because once the land is secured, you need some legal kind of organization to hold the land and maintain the land, which is a conservation trust. Then we started Borneo Conservation Trust, but they have no money. So we decided, this is Sabah, this is north of Borneo, which is called the hotspot in the world of mega biodiversity. So we just look for the Kinabatangan River. Then we make plans of the corridor, because the elephants moves along the river, so that we may need something to connect the forest. Then we are starting to, so we try to donate 1% of the sales to establish the movement first. Then we kept moving. Then there are other companies who got interest, such as because we had the symposium in 2007, and we invited several key stakeholders to the meeting, and other businesses, Mr. Adachi or Mr. Chandran from RSPO, or Ms. Isabel Ackerman for the NGO of orangutan was there. Second and third, but then like Hunting World, because they use the logo. But they use elephant not for hunting. They now change their mind. Elephant is to be protected, so that they make eco bag for the elephants, and they make a kind of good sales, and they donate some money. Then our company, Borneo Conservation Trust, was made. They had operation 1 year before, but in 2008, it is approved. So now they have activities such as making the bridges for orangutan, because orangutan cannot swim. It's when they jump into the water, they just shock and freeze and go into the deep, so that they cannot swim, so they don't go over 2 meters ditch. So they need some bridges. We get horses from the fire department, old horses, as a good recycle. We ask the citizens to make the bridges, BCTJ, and us. This is the first bridge that is made, and Nokanishi was very happy to move along. This is macaque monkey, very fierce. They come to break the camera. As a matter of fact, they break it, but we find orangutan was moving over the bridge, so we think this is a good certified project. Our business side, consumers is very important. As a matter of fact, 1% is not given by us. It's given by the consumer, because they buy kind of a little bit premium. We ask organized consumer to visit Borneo every year. Some of the comment, like appreciate the nature and the rainforest, which directly connect to our daily life. Great experience by the actual learning by visiting the rainforest. I pay more attention to the news about the environment conservation. What I can do is to share this experience with more people through the blogs, internet, etc., etc. They become very active, which is much better than we say this is good, but they say that themselves, and which is also, again, good to the business, because we just can sell more Yashinomi Senzai, then we can have BCTJ is good, and BCT is good because they have 1%. So this is a good collaboration. This is Sepirok. Sepirok is for the orangutan's protection. So this is just let them go back to the wild after they protected the children orangutan. They teach how to get the food, and they put it back to the forest in a good educational program. Now the elephants. Elephants come to the plantation because they like the oil palm very much. They like the core. It's very sweet and soft. It's the best food for them. They know it, so elephant is very strong. They just put the oil palm down. They put the inside, just put it out, and they eat. So the plantation people does not like elephant, as a matter of fact. Sometimes in the past, they put, for example, gasolines on the back of the elephants. They put the matches, so the elephants is burned on the back. Or they make some traps, or sometimes they were shot by somebody. That they find the dead body, or they find the dead head in the river, right, Rosali? So he can tell. So we may need a kind of relocation. When we are asked by the plantation, we catch the elephants, big one, bring it to the places that they cannot be harmful in a very planned way. Elephant is very strong. As you see, they break the cages. So the BTCJ is very keen to make good cages for the elephants to relocate. This is a small elephant. They are very curious that they can catch the traps. This trap is made for the smaller animals by the workers in the plantation, but small elephants, Then they are strong to break the trap. Then their feed was kind of infected, and sometimes they are gone in the forest, And this is a small elephant. Mother died somehow, so that they should be protected. But once they are protected, they have to be educated that how to get the food. But there's not such a place for the elephants. So this is a project that since 2010, especially by the chief officer of Asahiyama Zoo, Mr. Bando, has made a kind of enthusiastic plan to make elephant rescue center in the start. They make a kind of plan that to protect elephants. Then it was kind of obtained the supports from companies such as Kirin Beverage, Taisei Construction Company, Saraya, and others. And then Aoki-san will tell some of the names, the collaboration of the business and this center. So actually it was realized in 2013. Just a building has been inaugurated. But we need something more as a software. I was there. I was feeding the elephants. Once elephant is captured, they eat a lot. For example, that small elephant, they drink 15 or 20 liters of milk every day. So it's very expensive. In the nature, they are not expensive. They just get their food. Once they are protected, they eat a lot, so that you need their support. I was just feeding to their mouth, but I was smiling, but I was afraid that the elephants can hit me, This is a small elephant that is now kept in Sepirok, 2 elephants that I show some movie. But once you touch the wildlife, before you touch, you have to clean your hands. After you touch, you have to clean your hands. This is our product in the Sepirok that we donate and to clean hands. And this is another collaboration of business and wildlife conservation, because we make. There's an idea that we make Sabah mega ecological corridor. That means there is a Kinabatangan River, there is a Segama River, so we may make a little bit larger corridors, to connect 2 rivers in the end, so that we have more corridors. Then we have more wildlife, but the wildlife has to be maintained with the local support. And Rosali may talk also about the ideas. This is a beautiful wildlife in Sabah, and lots of animals and plants, even insect. This is a mega biodiversity place. I wish that this can be kept in a good way with the collaboration of business and NGOs and everybody, stakeholder. Thank you very much as my first presentation.